back to Lex Reads. So in today's video, which I'm super excited about because I'm going to be talking about my favorite African books. You guys know I've said it so many times. When I first got back into reading about 4 years ago, I gravitated towards African novelists, and I did not realize how great storytellers they are. They know how to tell a story, and they just hook you and grab you. And when I tell you, if I'm in a reading slump, two things that get me out that reading slump, it is African fiction and urban fiction. And oh my goodness, so I'm so excited because again, this is I love African novels, as you can see. So yeah, let's get started. I have quite a few, about 9 of them. And these are like my top picks when I first got into, like I said, reading. These are the ones that I gravitated towards. So yeah. So the first one is called One Is Enough by Flora Nwapa. Now, Flora Nwapa actually was the first African novelist to be published in the English language in Britain. So she was like ahead of her time. They call her like a pioneer when it comes to African writing. This story in particular, it got me. So this the main character, I think her name is Amika. She is 30 years old. She doesn't have any children. She's married, and she can't get pregnant basically. They always blame everything on the women. And her husband's like, you know what? I'm gonna take a second wife. And she's like, I'm not having that. No. And she leaves. She divorces him. And she becomes like this successful businesswoman, and she's single and all of that. But she meets a priest, and she gets a relationship with a priest. Come on, that's all I have to say. When I saw that, I'm like, oh, I'm reading this. And when I tell you, it was a ride. That dialogue and just the whole dynamic, okay? A single woman, getting involved with a priest. Come on now. So this was just fantastic. Next is Under the Adola Trees. I think it's, the author's name is Chinalu Oporante. I'm gonna butcher these names, so yeah. This was a huge eye-opener for me because this book talked about homosexuality in the African culture. And if you guys know that that's they look down on that. They literally kill people. You can go to jail, like back in the day. I mean, homosexuality is a big no-no when it comes to the African community. And the main character, she is a girl, and she has fled her home because of the war, the Biafra War, and she has this mother that is really religious. I mean, so religious. But she started to have feelings for a girl, and her mom knows that, but kind of chooses to look away, but she knows her daughter. And you just see how basically she navigates, through her personal life, through her professional life. And it just was so hard because I don't want to give it away. But at the end, you got closure. It was a fantastic story, but her having to hide this, and it just was so difficult. I mean, when I tell you, I literally remember reading this. This is 3 years ago, and I was at work and I could not concentrate. I wanted to finish this. And I remember driving home from work and literally going into my house and sitting down and reading it before anything. That's how much this book grabs you and holds you. I would really recommend this book. Again, like I said, it was an eye-opener. Next is Stay With Me by Ayobame Atabayo. Now, this one was another eye-opener. This is about a girl that she basically she gets married, and she is trying to have children, and every time she has a child, the child, I think, dies. But yeah, the child dies, and the problem is not the wife, it's actually the husband. And they come up with this idea to get her pregnant, and it is a wild ride. I love this book so much. You guys know if I like a book, I will get a second copy, and I did. I originally wanted this copy because I love the way that it looks, but I was being real cheap. and I got the paperback, and I actually lucked out and got this book for only $5.97. So yeah, but I have 2 copies because I love this book. And the dialogue, that's one thing too I love about African novels. Their dialogue just, oh, I just love it. So yeah, this one, great. Next is Girl, Woman, Other by Bernardine Evaristo. I like this because it read kind of like short stories. Every woman had a section. This was another book, I keep on saying eye opener, but they are, because I did not understand non-binary until I read this book. It's basically about women that they're all basically like lesbians or like lesbians, homosexuality, dealing with all of that. And again, they're like short stories, and you just see how the women basically navigate in their life, and they live in the UK. My favorite probably was Dominique. The story dealt with domestic abuse, but it was towards a woman. Because usually when you see, you know, like a domestic violence situations, like a man and a woman, so to see it like a woman and a woman, and that lady was getting Dominique together, but she had a lot of skeletons in her closet. If you guys know, you know. Oh Lord, that lady went through it. But her Dominique story probably was my favorite. And Carol, her story got me too. Oh yeah. And how I read this book is I actually listened to it and read it at the same time, and I adored it. So yeah. Next is Behold the Dreamers by Mbola Mbwe. I love her name. I love to say her name. I actually can say her name. This one is about a family from Cameroon, and they moved to New York because basically, you know, immigrants, they believe if you move to United States, it's like, you know, you're gonna get that American dream. But when it comes to immigrants, it's really difficult sometimes to, you know, get your feet on the ground. And this book was the prime example. Lord, Junde and was it Junde and Nanny? Oh my goodness. So he gets a job as a chauffeur, and he gets a job as a chauffeur, and he is working with this man named Clark. He works for the Lehman Brothers, and you basically see how Clark's life is and Junde's life is, and clearly it is like night and day. Clark has money, Junde doesn't. He's just, I mean, struggling to get anything, you know, on the table and get bills paid. This book is, like I said, it's a prime example of a immigrant story. And oh my goodness, this one touched my heart. And again, you got closure. I like the way it ended. I honestly did. So yeah. Next that's my girl. Oh my goodness, I love this. I've said this so many times. I love this author, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. Americana, it's just about what can you say about Americana? Really, it's about a girl named Afemalu that goes to the United States to go to college. She ends up leaving her like long lost love, Obenze, in Nigeria, but then Obenze goes to the UK to try to make a living. You just see how she goes through all these experiences. That's basically what it is. I just adore this story. This one it talks about everything. It talks about race, it talks about gender, it talks about class, it talks about black hair, all of it. I mean, I just adore this book. I adore this author. This is a book that I probably will never forget, and it's a book that I will revisit, because Chimamanda, to me, when it comes to that writing, can just do no wrong. I adore this author, as you guys know and you can tell. So yeah. Next is His Only Wife by Peace Aduze Mindy. This one was my favorite book of last year. I actually was on like my top 5. This is another one with that dialogue. Oh, I love this dialogue in this book. So basically it's about a girl named Afi. She is from Ghana, and she comes from like a poor kind of family, and her mother says, you know what, you got to get married. So she gets married to this wealthy man named Akeem, but she's never met him. And on the day of their wedding day, he doesn't show up. So basically, you know, they get married, and then she finally meets him, and she really has to get used to this, you know, luxurious lux life, because again, she comes from, you know, humble beginnings. Oh my goodness, I adore this book. This is a book, after I read it, I went back and read passages, and sometimes I find myself, when I don't know what to read, I'll like pick this up and like read some of the passages that I have, you know, annotated, because that dialogue is just, oh, I love it. I cannot stress enough about the dialogue. And this cover is so pretty. Next is She Will Be King by Wea Tumor. Wea Tumor is actually a Liberian novelist, and this would be classified as a, what do you call it, magical realism. And usually I don't like books like that, because I don't like, you know, people flying in the sky and all that, but it has realistic factors. That's why it's called magical realism. So this book basically is about three main characters. Bessa, her power is she cannot die. She's like immortal. So like a snake bites her and she can't die. Then you have June Day. June Day, he if you whip him, his bodies cannot feel like anything. So if you like shoot him, he can't feel bullets, he can't feel whips, chains, nothing. And then Norman Arrogant, he just vanishes. So you literally can see him, and then you come next to him or come close to him, and he can just basically disappear. Oh my goodness, what got me is the beginning. It's a saying in Liberian culture. It's called don't hum a cats. It means, you know, they say don't be mean to cats, because that cat got that lady together. So basically Bessa was born on a day that was really bad. This lady, she was a widow, and she just was really angry and just mean, and she had this cat, and she would just, girl, throw the cat, yell at the cat, all of that. And one day he was like, she told him, don't eat the food, don't eat my food, and he ate that food. And when I tell you she got that cat together, she literally like flew him against like the room, and he like fell on a wall, and like clearly he was dead. When she was sleeping, they said that someone saw that cat, a yellow cat, go up to the roof of her house, and it caved in and killed her. So they say don't hum a cats means don't be mean to cats, because Kay will get you together. So y'all, don't be mean to cats. When I see cats, you know, I stay away from them because I'm afraid of them anyway. But after reading that story, don't hum a cats, don't get near cats. So love this, love the author. I actually read her second book last year and just adored it. She's one of the authors where when she comes up with a book, I will get it, because I just adore her writing. And lastly is The Girl with the Louding Voice by Abby Dare. This one took my heart too. This one is about a house girl that she yearns to have, you know, education, and her dad has recently sold her to to get married, and her mom has passed, and she finds a way to escape from her husband. She's like 14 or something, but she basically is like a house girl. That's what they call like maids, and her I don't know, mistress of the house or her owner is horrible. I mean, the stuff she makes this girl do, horrible. But you basically just see that yearning and that need for learning. And I just love that, because, you know, it's some people that, you know, they cannot go to school and they want to go to school, and you know, you have school fees and things like that in some African you know, countries. So to see a person wanting to learn and yearning to learn and they can't, it's just devastating. And you see this, you know, in this book, but it is a happy ending. You get closure, so I love that. But her road to getting what she needed was a bumpy road, I tell you that much. But I adored this novel. I read it last year. It was also a top 5 of mine. I could just go on and on. So yeah, guys, that's all I have when it comes to these African novels. Like I said, when I got back into reading, I got into, that genre, and I haven't looked back. I love it. So yeah, what else? Oh, you guys know my Instagram got hacked. Broke my heart. It broke my heart because I had over 3,000 followers, but not just the followers, all that content I had from like 2 years. I started my Instagram basically in 2020 during the lockdown, during the pandemic, and just to see it vanish, it was heartbreaking, but it's okay. I have a link down below. It is Lex Read 10. So I was able to kind of keep my handle. Like I said, I'll have it below. So please, guys, follow me. Again, we're gonna build it back up. It's slowly building up. So yeah. Oh, and I also have a TikTok. So yeah, I will also link that down below too. So yeah, guys, that's all I have for you, and I'll be back with more Black books. Bye.